look like a sailor.
It's very dark, the screen.
It is, isn't it? Bear with me one sec. Oh. Hang on, just one sec. Better. That's brighter, isn't it? Is that brighter? Hello?
Hi, everyone.
Hello!
Happy Friday. Don't shout.
Sick child upstairs.
God, how many times have I said to you? He's been shouting and screaming.
Sorry.
She's got a headache.
Fully tired.
Right, so, morning, everybody. How are you? I don't feel great today. How do you feel? I woke up at 4:45, just worrying, and I couldn't get back to sleep. And now I feel positively sick with tiredness.
What are you worrying about?
No, just all sorts of
Not
things.
worry about everything.
Just everything.
Yeah, I know. Worry
It's
about
just
life.
everything. Today we are welcome if this is your first time with us. We're here 6 days a week, and Fridays. I'm not usually on a Friday because I'm on Loose Women, but we've got other stuff we've got to film today, so I'm not doing Loose today. But at the end on a Friday, Mark always takes over and does the quiz, which our regulars love. Date your faith. Date your faith. So today we're going to be talking about the joys of not having kids.
You've gone very formal.
We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about. What's the other one? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about. You say something.
Well, can't you remember?
I just no, I can't. As I said, I woke up at 4:45 and my brain is totally banoonard.
Banoonard.
Yeah, can't think.
What are we dealing with? We've got Billie Eilish coming off social media. We've got child-free women.
Said that.
Is it okay to be child-free? Oh, crikey, we've got drag performances for babies and kids. Is it appropriate? And essentially, jail time for swearing at someone. But obviously, there's a bit more to that
Incredible
than meets
story.
the eye. Absolutely. The reason I was kind of like distracted was it's so annoying that you can't do this in a way that means you can't just do this. But it's Friday, which means...
Come on, guys. Come on. Let's get a bit of movement. That's what we need to cheer ourselves up.
I like the way you did that. I think Chi wants to go out, Ned.
Oh,
Sorry
right.
about
That'll be me that does that
Yeah,
then.
because I'm controlling absolutely every other button here.
Prepare,
She's going to bark. Oh, God. You can't do it. Oh, for God's sake. The simplest things no one can do. Oh.
It's definitely irritable Friday. Oh, something wrong with our door. I can't do it. I don't want to break it. Listen, I'm the only one who does the door gently, Mark. You break.
Loud.
You break the door every time. The last time the door was broken, it's because of you.
God, he asked for bloody peace and quiet and listen to you and the dog and everything. Anyway, you've kind of cramped our style.
Okay, I'll bugger off.
No, that's
I'll
right.
go and lie down.
You're not feeling very well, are you?
No. So, how are you? Enough about us. All we've done in the first 2 minutes is moan, have a little
make
argument.
noise.
It must be great for you guys.
I just want to ask LN. Lambs.
Russ
Your
says you're
children
off
have got lambs.
Russ says you look like you're off for a round of golf.
I'm off.
exactly-
I do look like I'm off for a round of golf. What's your handicap?
It is the cap
No, I know.
with the shirt.
No,
Mark.
I know. All right, I'm going to go
I don't
change.
like it. I didn't want to say. Thanks for saying for me, Russ. I knew. Oh my God, my roots. I did that thing where I did the front bit, but I haven't done all the side bits. Oh, I've got to say, if you see me leaning forward, girls, can you say to me, back up? Hi, Sadie. Hi, So Unique. Hi, Andrea Crash. Andrew Crash commented on Mark's short video. I'll get him to have a look. Have a look at the short videos that we're doing now on YouTube. We've got some really funny ones. Mark's collated them, so funny. And he also does every week a culture vulture, 1 minute film of all the things that you should see.
If you want to know how to be culturally cool, just go and check out the Culture Vulture. It kind of just gives you the best things to do culturally. Not just in London either. Listen, read, watch, see, smell. Why isn't there an app that allows you to smell?
What do you mean? Oh, also we're doing, would you like more time away from your phone? We forgot about that. And maybe we'd get a more
No, Billie Eilish
smooth-
ditches social media.
Oh, that's the same thing. A smoother...
Shall we start the whole thing again?
Yeah.
Let's just pause.
Now you don't look like you're going to play golf, because I swear to God, I thought I was sat next to Gerald. So thanks, Ross. I was like, I don't know why I'm here.
I don't know why I'm here.
I was going to say, do you always dress for them like this on a Friday?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I don't know.
Where the hell is that
I don't know. I found it next door.
Whose is it? Oh, it's Diesel.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a bit.
I'm going to go and change it. Oh, it's not working for me either. Oh, for God.
Ross, it's so funny you said that because I was upstairs right until the last second before we went live. And then when I came down, I was live on Instagram and I was like, Canel, what's going on over there? But I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, this is better.
Oh, he's got something better apparently.
Oh, this is much better.
Oh, apparently it's much better. Are you excited, everybody?
Where do I put my glasses?
Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. I'm not looking until they see you. We're all going to see you together. What is it? It better be good. Badam. Badam. You don't need your glasses, babe. We just want to see the top. Da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Where did you find that? Oh my God, you look pregnant. It's really weird. Because it's kind no, just look forward because it's kind of 3D. So you look like you are with Child of Guinea Pig. That's very
It's like a
funny.
belly button.
Much better, they're all saying. What were you thinking when you put that cap and top together? Were you unsure at the time, Mark? Were you unsure or did you feel pretty, did you feel like...
Watch this, watch.
Oh God, here we go.
You know the way they...
Sawalha-Adderleys.
Where they
All right, that's enough, Mark. It's boring now.
Sorry.
Bloody hell, you don't know how to edit yourself. Christ almighty.
Sorry, poor old Kiki.
Oh,
Shut
shut
the door.
up.
You
Just
shut the door.
stop now. Keep saying
Shut the
it. We
door.
know. We'll try our best.
Shut
That's
the
it.
door.
That's all we can do. No, I'm not shutting the door. I'm boiling. Because I was
Look.
so nervous when I came down and saw you dressed as Gerald.
Oh, that cap's a bit small
because
for me.
I knew at another point you were going to flash back to this day and you were going to say to me, why didn't you tell me what I look like?
But look at my... Look,
Thank
where
God.
the squeezed
But
my
thank
cap.
God rusted. Okay, carry on. Russ brought it up.
Thanks, Ross. Morning, Elliot.
Look at you. What have you got there?
It's where my hat was. It
You've
really
got such
hurts.
a widow's peak, haven't you?
What are you saying?
No, it's amazing.
My granddad used to have exactly the same.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He was almost like Ray Reardon. Do you remember him?
No.
Snooker player. Sorry, Mark. Looking much better. Thanks, Ross. Thanks. Yeah, no, my cap it's really hurt my head. Really hurt my head. It was
Everything about you couldn't have got that outfit any more wrong, could you? If you tried.
no, that's good. It's good
What's
to know.
happening to you? You shaved yesterday.
What are you talking about? You've told me I've got a widow's
No, but
peak.
it's weird that you're suddenly growing so much hair.
I don't know.
It's really weird.
So you're telling me my hair's receding and I've got a beard?
No, you've always had a widow's peak. It's not receding. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Anyway, I suppose it will start growing out of your nose next.
Bloody hell.
Guys, tell them about that story you read today with the brain.
Oh, someone was flushing their sinuses in Florida
With tap water.
with tap water, and then they got, well, I can't remember what they got. They got some
They got an
horrendous
amoeba.
amoebic disease.
Went into their brain and ate it. Why is it always a Florida man? But listen, you must boil water if you're going to do any plumbing that goes near your brain. You're flushing it out.
What is flushing your sinuses?
My dad's a terrible flusher outer.
shut the door, it's
He's
freezing.
always getting stuff to flush out his nose. I mean, like, we've bought him tubes and pipes and puffers. Just don't do it. If you've been rinsing out your sinuses with tap water, stop. Also, warm lakes.
What?
Warm lakes.
Oh,
if you
warm
swim in
lakes.
warm
It's
lakes,
really
don't
bad.
snort
Oh,
the
the
water.
dogs outside. In a minute. Oh my God, I've done it again.
Okay, come on then. This is rubbish, this
God.
This is the most
Never
rubbish
normally
lot.
like
This is
this.
the most rubbish lot. If this is your first time joining Coffee Moaning, do come back another day because today's rubbish. It's rubbish, Mark. Maybe we should just finish now. Should we finish now? Guys, let's just...
Something about this
let's
just isn't working, is it?
Let's just admit that not every single day it works.
No, it doesn't. It's not working today.
Oh, as I said, these kind of lives are my favourite.
Oh, MT, I'm so pleased. You make my boy happy. Thank you. Had Maxie, dance in the kitchen at early hours. Oh, I'm so
No, we
pleased.
haven't got any other doors, Linda. We take all the doors off. Got no door there, got no door there. We used to have no door there. I don't know why we always had a thing about doors.
You're supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Yeah, but you just must boil the water and then let it cool. You must let it cool. That's the thing. Right, let's get going. Let's get awake because it's boring, Mark. Come on.
Why are you clicking your finger at me?
Because I'm trying to wake you up because you're going like this.
Heck, I was fine.
You can start dribbling in a minute.
What do you mean?
You can start dribbling, like rubbing yourself or something.
I do that all the time. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Anyway, one of the stories that we're going to talk about, is that what you mean? You want that sort of energy? I can't do it today. I literally, it's not in me. You know when it's not part of you?
Oh, no, Danielle, you definitely shouldn't pull your nose hair out. And you know where you heard it? You heard it here.
Why?
Because we told them not to pull their nasal hair out. You know, there's all this bloody TikTok, Instagram stuff where you see people, they put the wax and then they get an earbud and then they pull the... and people have no hair. And this is why people that had no hair they get infections, they get colds. The hair is there to protect you from viruses.
Like around the nun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
Exactly. Don't rip your nose and don't rip your nose.
So really, hair everywhere is a good thing.
Yes. Though I don't understand why... Do you think why men start growing hair out of their ears when they get older? It's to protect what little hearing they've got left.
No.
Men go more mutt and Jeff before
It's
women.
a naturally occurring method of shutting women up so we don't hear you. We grow bushes in our ears.
Do you know what, guys? You know Kay has got her hearing aids now. They're amazing.
Right.
I'm going to go and have mine done because I am definitely... And if you do think you're losing...
Definitely.
If you think you are losing your hearing... It's we're supposed to have a hearing test every year, and the sooner you get hearing aids, if you need them, the better. Because when you leave it too long, then they never quite work for you. Like my dad, he's constantly taking them out because he never had time to get used to them.
Hey?
She is just loving having them, Kate. Absolutely loving them because, like, honestly, we used to go in somewhere and she'd spend the whole time going like, "That's if you're struggling, guys, just go and get a hearing test."
Was it
Just-
a curse, though, that she can
You're
hear
supposed
more?
to have it every... That's what she said. No, but she can turn them off, so she can shut me up completely.
God.
But if you're worried, go and get your... I'm booking me and Mark in.
I don't want to go.
You're doing a lot of A's, a lot.
Not
a
as many
lot.
as you.
But I think men are more selective.
Oh, God, this hasn't got any better. It's not improving.
Nobody gets hearing... Yeah, look, I've had a hearing test since primary school. Nobody does. I think it's every 2 years you're supposed to have it. No, every year. Eyes every 2 years. And I don't know a single adult that has... Oh, now, Faith, I know you struggle with your hearing. My
Thank
hearing
you,
is
Andrea.
ruined
I'll check it out.
due to hair inside my ears stopped working. The hair inside your...
Oh, is that the tiny, tiny hair that you get right in there? I'm talking... I've got a long hair that comes out.
No, I'm talking more of the, like, those ones. Yeah. So, Faith, do you have hearing aids? Because you spoke before about struggling with hearing. Yeah, it was changed Kay's life. Right, here we go. No, I don't think I'm deaf. Somebody said, why do you think? I don't think I'm deaf, but I can tell that there's a change in my hearing. It could be just that I've got lots of wax, or it could be my tinnitus is playing up.
Okay. Child-free women. What do you think of... Why is it... I mean, I've always thought this. Why is it that if a woman proudly states she doesn't have children or lives her life in a way that she... Like Jennifer Aniston, was that Chelsea Handley, is it? The other American TV presenter. This is a story about a woman who chooses to be child-free and has created videos and content that basically promotes the lifestyle that she has without having children. Proudly child-free. Jackie Dives, shares videos on TikTok of her everyday activities as a childless woman. She's an artist, a photojournalist, and a solo traveller. She specifies always that she's child-free and says that she's received a lot of hate because of this. Jane Collett says, "I am proudly child-free." Nadia, why is there such judgment about women who are child-free?
Do you know what? Years ago, before I'd had any children, and me and Carol used to hang out a lot, me and Karen McGiff, and I wanted children, she didn't. And I always used to say, "Oh, but you will one day." It's ignorance, you know. I just was like, it's just what you're fed, isn't it? And I said to Carol, I feel really bad about that in those days, because I was of that thinking that people just don't know, you know, that one day they're going to get a lightning bolt moment and they're going to want a child and they mustn't leave it too late. Well, God, how narrow. But, you know, that's what society feeds you, isn't it? And I come from a
She's
very
39, this woman.
I come from a very big family where everybody had children, you know, and I think even more so in the Middle East where my father's from, it's just unthinkable that somebody would say, well, I'm not going to have children. But of course now I think totally differently. And I never thought anyone was selfish for not having children. I never thought, oh, well, you're selfish. Though I remember people in my family saying people that didn't have children were selfish.
Right.
But I never thought that. I just thought, oh, they didn't know yet that their maternal instinct was going to kick in at a later point. And why should it? We're all so different. Why do we expect that every single man and woman should have a parental instinct that kicks in?
Yeah.
And I think we'd have a lot less unhappy children or unhappy adults if society didn't force people, make people think that the only way is with children.
Do you think there's... No, I can't think of an awful lot of women who don't have children or aren't wanting children.
I was thinking about it today, actually, because I was thinking on Loose Women, I was thinking of all the women on Loose Women. And I can think of Sophie, Carol. If there's anyone else that I've missed off, guys, Janet. Sophie, Carol and Janet are the only three I could think of that don't have kids.
Who's Sophie?
She's another Loose Woman. And I'm thinking, wow, if you think about, if you just take Loose Women as an example, and you are somebody that's chosen not to have children, and you are not represented, you're hardly represented on that all-female daily show that's been going for 25 years. It's a really good example of how excluded you can feel from the conversation. And I was reading some of the comments from people that had found this movement on TikTok for childless women, and they said, oh my God, I really did think there was something wrong with me. I was trying to force myself into thinking that one day I will want children, and it's so brilliant to feel represented and to feel
Kelly
okay
Holmes,
with it.
apparently. She not got children?
Oh, Kelly Holmes, yeah.
That's quite a few, actually. Got quite a few.
Not out of 25.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people here saying, what about people who can't have children?
That's a different thing.
I think that's a different topic. I think
We're
this is
talking about people
precisely
that have
about
made
people who
the choice.
choose not to. And I'm trying to think, would there have been a time where I would have thought, I mean, you know, you often get this thing where people say, why are we on this planet? We're put on this planet to eat, survive and procreate. Don't they? You know, and in a sense, then people go to the idea of, but it's the survival of the human race. I think that's a huge pressure to put on one couple, don't you? Survival of the human race. I mean, I think there's life is an umbrella under which you can have so many different approaches to things. I think several people or a few people not having children is not going to impact necessarily, though. As they've discovered in China, if too many people decide not to have children, it does start to present some structural problems, doesn't it?
I was listening to a really interesting podcast on that the other day.
God, I can't think of anything you don't listen to a podcast
and
about.
it was so interesting because they have now this real problem in China. And do you know where it comes from? Do you know where it comes from?
Where?
So, because of the one child policy that they had, daughters, for the first time, were invested in.
Wow.
So they were given an education.
Wow.
They were fed fantastic food. They were held up in the way that they hadn't been because it was a very boy-focused society, like many cultures. And so all these young women grew up all these girls grew up to young women with very highly educated,
Yes.
and hadn't been brought up in that society, which is the only way that you're going to go is to be a mother and that's
So
why
they grew up with aspirations.
with aspiration beyond being
Beyond
a parent.
fertility.
And now they are desperate in China. They're asking for a 3-child policy now, I think, aren't they?
If you distill down where the pressure to have children or the societal need to have children comes from, it becomes very quickly Handmaid's Tale-y.
does
If
very
you
quickly.
if you actually start to kind of dig into it. But anyway, I don't think any woman should be judged for not having children, and yet they are. And I'm going to be really honest, a little bit like the time I said, with grey hair, you've aren't entered the last chamber room of life, death, or whatever. I think wrongly, as soon as I hear someone isn't having, I forget whether they can or can't, but has chosen not to have children, and I'm trying to sort of interrogate this. This isn't a response that I'm in control of, so I think it's socially informed. My first thought is selfishness. Isn't that weird? I initially go to, oh, that's quite selfish, and I want to work out why I think that.
Yeah,
because
you've been you've been dictated to.
Yeah, I've been
That's what
dictated
it
to,
is.
and I think, where does that? But I would think the same thing. I think of men too. So there is somewhere baked into us this idea that
But I don't
fundamentally
think
that's one of the reasons we're here.
But I think there's also a shift in the word selfish, isn't it? It's only had a negative connotation to it. But to think of self more is fine.
Jane Collett,
isn't
it's
it?
selfish, but selfish is not a bad thing. Yeah, if you take the word self-ish, as in the self, and it's of yourself.
Exactly. But it's good to challenge these thoughts and work out what, and because too often, don't we, in the world at the moment, in the world of cancel culture, and everybody's got to think about what they're saying, and people mostly go to what they think is the right thing to say. It's really good to look beyond your own headlines.
No, I agree.
And in that sense, like me the last week with ageism, it's like I am age, I have that internal.
Yeah. And I mean, as soon as
Because
I
otherwise you can't
name
work
it, as
on
soon
it.
as I name the fact that I think it's selfish, I realise and recognise that's a wrong response.
But it's sitting in there,
but
isn't
it's
it?
just-
Like a little
it's
bit
like-
of toxic.
Yeah,
toxin.
it's just like a quick judgment. I think one of the things perhaps that doesn't help, because this woman has had a lot of hate. Some people were asking how old is she? She's 39, so there's still, she's still.
She gave up her partner that she really loved. She'd been with him for 5 years, and she loved him. And he said, "I've got to go because I want kids." And he gave her the chance to say she would, and she knew so deeply that she didn't want them, that she let him go, which I think is just fantastic. And there's a Facebook group called I Regret Having Children.
Oh, really?
thousands
Well, that's
of
a completely
members.
different thing, isn't it?
No, but I mean,
Having kids
there
and
is
then
going to
regretting
be
them.
so many people that did it because they thought that's what they were supposed to do, that society deems you selfish if you're not, that you're not fitting in with everybody else. It's like a status symbol almost, a child, isn't it? You get the house, you get the car, you get the kid, you get the dog.
Well, she says, this woman goes on to say on her BuzzFeed, talking to BuzzFeed, she
agree
says,
with
like
that.
any stigma, the more we normalise it, the better it will get in terms of not having children.
Exactly.
People need to stop gaslighting women about what they want from their own lives. I think one of the things I have a problem with is anyone on social media or anywhere going on about something. So I think one of the things that perhaps I sometimes react to is people who don't have kids often have a sort of very judgy attitude to people who do have kids, as much as people who do have kids have a very judgy attitude to people who don't have kids. And then it gets all very judgy.
The only journey in life that we all fucking need at the moment is to shut up with the judgment.
Yeah, or get the Northern Line.
God, we get it wrong. Too often when we judge, we get it wrong. And if you don't like what somebody's doing, then just don't watch them.
I love this though. Chelsea Handler did a segment on The Daily Show. It was a segment titled Day in the Life of a Childless Woman. And throughout the clip, she'd poke fun at things. She'd do things that she's not a mother. So she'd do things like she'd remember that she had no kids to take to school.
Take a trip to Paris.
Take a trip to Paris.
Love
I think that's
that.
quite funny. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. It's a personal choice, absolutely. But it's amazing how socially conditioned we are. But at the end of the day, we are meant to just be digital data, to quote Rishi Sunak. We are digital data that needs to fit into the spreadsheet of Western living. And that's why we need to have more kids.
And this is a really good point
Yeah, I'll put it
here.
up here.
Ellen, my eldest is 10 and she's said since she was 5 that she doesn't want a baby. And I just say that's fine. I think that is so important, isn't it? Because I had to make myself think like that as I became more awake. Because when the kids were little and they said they didn't want a child, I would go, oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. And you will. And I just thought, God, I realised that was just outrageous. A, what if they can't have kids? B, what if they really don't want kids? And what you're setting them up for is a sense of failure if they don't. So I always say, yeah, I said, not everybody needs to have kids. Not everybody wants to have kids. And, the only thing is constant is change. You might change your mind 100 times and then settle on whatever that is, whether you have them or don't, but it's your choice. Exactly. And I just I'm glad you brought that up. It's important.
Exactly. It's funny though, isn't it? I dovetail between the two. I always use the kind of gastro pub scenario where the Tarquins are. And then you've got, on the one hand, when I see Tarquins with lots and lots of kids all climbing over tables and them all going, this is self-expression, and then they draw on your face with crayons. I wish no one had kids. And then when you're there with your own kids, because of course everyone's own kids are fine when they're using crayons on other people's faces. I hate people who stand around the bar going, oh, you've got kids. Do you know what I mean? It's like we can just hate people for exactly the opposite thing, depending on the situation.
Oceanic Therapy London. Being judged about no kids by everyone is exhausting and a way of life for me, even by my family.
Oh.
Maybe you could write your family a round robin email where you just say how it leaves you feeling. And just say, do you mind? Like, it's been a long time. Can we just never say anything about it again?
Yeah.
That would be nice for me. And just, yeah.
MeTube says if
people get into a habit of saying things with their family as well, don't they? Something that's banter can become something that person becomes so uncomfortable with and nobody knows because they've always done it.
MeTube says if a state could produce workers in a lab, some would. They would. Agree. Elaine Denning, my only son, 34, doesn't want children, and I've been guilty in the past of putting my own wishes onto him of really wanting to be a nana. Well, God, look, we're already 26 minutes due to my fucking costume change. So
and your inability to speak. You had
trying to get a word in sideways.
You had quite a while
difficult.
where you were just going.
I think if you spool it back, you'll find that I was running around trying to change my outfit.
Yeah, but before you were running around.
Anyway, this story really leapt out from the internet.
This is an awful story.
This is a woman who's 49, the first thing I did with this story was I saw the footage before I saw anything else. So this is a woman who is disabled and partially sighted. She was walking along a sort of pathway in Cambridgeshire. She shouted at, swore and gestured at a 77-year-old woman who was cycling towards her on the same footpath. In gesturing, swearing and essentially shouting at, the 77-year-old cyclist averted her, swerved onto the road, fell over her handlebars, was hit by a car and died.
I mean, just
Tragic.
how tragic.
Tragic.
But
the woman who was essentially on the walkway, who shouted, swore and said, get off, has been convicted of manslaughter and is in prison for 2 years.
No, 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. 2 years. Oh, right, okay.
3 years.
So she didn't get a suspended sentence.
3 years.
What do you think of this?
I think it's a tragic case. Now, listen to this. I just heard this upstairs on the radio. Now, the police haven't yet been able to determine whether it's a shared pathway.
Wow.
Nick Ferrari couldn't believe it. He's like, so the police don't even know if it's a shared pathway.
But there are many aspects about this story that trouble me. On the one hand, you don't know to what extent. Looking at the CCTV, she wasn't like standing there giving the finger and all that kind of malarkey.
She swore at her.
The extent to which, how much did the cyclist? Obviously there's the tragic loss for the widower who talks about how he can't bear seeing the footage as he did in court, and the idea that his partner should have died in this manner. It's just tragic. But the idea, if I think back to the number of times where any of us have been on a street as a pedestrian, as a driver, as a cyclist, and we've kind of just gestured at someone or called out to someone, there but for the grace of God go we, that nothing severe has happened because of that. But surely this has to pivot around whether she should have been on the cycle path or not. Because
but police as yet can't say whether it was a shared pathway, because I just heard the cyclist expert person saying that he'd looked into the case. Now, okay, so I think any sort of sane person is going to see that this is a tragic mess, right? And for 3 years, when you think what other people get, burglars are let off all the time, sexual assault is dismissed all the time, and somebody gets 3 years. She's obviously got stuff going on for her as well. The woman who shouted at her, but you know, we've got to do something about cyclists tearing down. I'm not saying this woman at all. She's 77. Maybe she was nervous on the road and went on the pavement for a bit. I'm not talking about this case. But what I'm talking about is we've all been in that position where a cyclist has been hammering down the road. Now, the other day, my daughter said to me yesterday, she said, "Oh my God, Mum, I was so terrified yesterday." She said she only had one earphone in. We teach them to only have one earphone in. She said, but this, you know, these motorised things was so quiet behind. She had no idea. He was racing. She luckily had just stepped. She had no idea he was behind her, and he went past. Whoosh. She said he would have just knocked me for 6. And I just think, why are we allowing these scooters on the pavement? They go up to, is it like 30 miles an hour they can go up to?
I've just watched the footage again whilst you were talking, and she in no way is overly hostile. She does it sort of almost low. She doesn't touch her. It's not, you know, you don't know how much she's shouting, but it does strike me as a really unfortunate set of circumstances. I mean, you know, if the CCTV doesn't even seem particularly damning.
Disability campaigners are saying it's, you know, it's extremely harsh. It's insane. Our justice systems needs to be completely rethought. It's just.
I mean, you know, perhaps, you know, reckless. This is the problem. This is my line about getting annoyed with cyclists. Let's stress, vast majority, though not as many as they like to think, of cyclists observe the rule of the road. The other day we were talking about it, went out, and the first 6, all of them look very nice people, but they all jump red lights and the problem here is that when cyclists and scooter riders and sometimes pedestrians don't observe the rules of the rules of the road, the trauma that it creates for the driver or other people who potentially hit them is not often thought about. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes if you're driving along and someone steps out, as a driver, you will beep a pedestrian because they're not thinking, and that pedestrian will think you're being something. But actually, you're trying to avoid trauma for them, death, and trauma for yourself driving. Do you know what I mean? It's
loads of people saying about the scooters, and Birmingham city centre has now banned them.
Right.
I think every one of us needs to just really, across the country, has to nag our MPs.
Erin Bullimore says she should go to jail. She doesn't run her into the road. You don't have any right whatsoever to run cyclists into the road, even if they shouldn't be on the path. The cyclist was probably scared she'd knock her off. I've just looked at the footage. She doesn't look like she's running her off the road.
No, she's not running. I mean, if she'd pushed her into the road, there's still a case to answer, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
She's scared. She said she was scared because she thought that, and remember, she's partially sighted.
I mean,
and
whenever
disabled in some other way, and she thought the bike was going to hit her.
That's a huge detail. And also, you know, sometimes when you're just in a park, when a cyclist comes towards you, you freeze because they're going so fast. So I think prison is a bit strong. That's my hunch on that.
I really do. She's not a criminal. She's not a criminal.
But isn't it funny? As soon as all the coverage, as soon as they show her mugshot, you sort of, you know, mugshots automatically make people look horrendous, don't they? So anyway, it just struck me there as a very curious detail. Billie Eilish says she's deleted all of her social media, and this made me and Nadia this morning talk about social media addiction. And I just wanted to share a thought I had last night. I went upstairs to read my book, read a chapter of my book. I love reading English literature. And I read a chapter, I put the book down, and I thought to myself, God, we keep banging on about youngsters not reading enough and all this kind of stuff. And back in the day when I was younger, reading a book before social media and all that kind of stuff would have provided enough dopamine hits of story, character, thought, you know, drama, all that kind of stuff. You'd get a little bit of a rush just from reading a story and escaping. But now we've got these damn phones. No book can ever hope to compete with a device that is basically stimulating you constantly. And Billie Eilish talking about the fact that she no longer looks at social media anymore, has deleted all of her social media apps, just made us think again, how much do we need to have some kind of detox from this stuff? Because it's destroying not just our self-esteem, our time, but also our ability to relax and do anything else.
She said that she feels very vulnerable because what people say goes in and affects her. And I think I think for the majority of people it does. It hurts and it harms, but there's so much good on it as well, isn't there? And there's so much that's fascinating about it. And that's what's so addictive about it. And I am yearning to have less time with my phone. I am a complete addict. Every one of us in this house is. Any one of this family that says they're not an addict or says you're worse or you're worse, it's just bullshit. Because it's like drinking a bottle of wine and saying, well, you're drinking too. You know, we are not in a good place with our phones as a family. And anyone that's followed us here for the years, how often does this come up and we say, right, we're going to set aside a day. I've been saying this for so many years. Let's have a Sunday without a phone. I said it this morning. And we were going, I even got a box with Sawalha-Adderleys unplugged. All it's ever had in it is old safety pins, bits of old sellotape, dust. It's never had a phone put in it once, not even to see what it looks like. And like today, I was saying to Mark, how about it? Why don't we do a whole day on a Sunday? And I said, or a Sunday morning. And do you know what he's done? Every time I've said it today, all he's done is say absolutely nothing. Total silence, haven't you? He hasn't even discussed it, or it's just total silence because he hopes if he stays quiet for long enough, I won't say it again.
Elliot Gonzalez, hi Elliot. I love the idea of leaving social media, but worry about what I'd miss out on. It's a great source of news. I managed 3 months off Twitter a few years ago and did feel better for it. But of course, you run, part of your business is your Instagram account, and like Erin Bullam, and like with us, so it's very hard to kind of Erin Bullamore. Can I just quickly say?
Can I just answer that, because you said about business, and that's a really good point. In business, you have to have a day off.
True.
And I think this is the problem with us. We're very similar to you, Elliot, that we said, but it's our business. But does anyone go 7 days a week to the office? Because our offices, because people who work, have channels and stuff, because we work all the time from home, that phone keeps you working all day and half the night.
Erin Bullamore, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I disagree, Mark. She says books are still a better dopamine hit than phones. It's just that prying yourself off your phone to read a book.
That's exactly what he means.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what
a book
agree.
Is a more meaningful dopamine hit
when
you can pry yourself off your phone and go to it. And it was thoroughly rewarding, the chapter I read, but I was then too tired anyway. But I was just thinking, oh my God, the effort it took to disentangle myself from that, to go for a much more meaningful dopamine hit. Absolutely agree.
If you think about any substance that you can be addicted to, right? Any substance, there is always an alternative way to spend that time that you're using whatever that substance is, right? But that's the nature of addiction. You don't go for a lovely walk in the countryside if you want to be off your tits in a club all the time. Now, you know which one's better. You know that the other one does give a dopamine hit and feel good, natural chemicals and all of that. But you go to the addiction, and I think it is exactly the same with the phone. It's exactly the same. To sit and just have a really lovely, slow conversation with your family over dinner and go all over the place, far range, is better than you all sitting there on your phone. But the phone is always going, something funny to show you, something interesting to show you.
Just quickly, Jackie Valino, it's your fault because I'm always watching you two. Zoe Agnew,
we're a part of it.
I leave my phone in my living room at night now as I just sit on it if I take it to bed. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we haven't even managed to do that one night, Zoe.
No, not at all. Final story before we then do the Friday quiz, fuck off Friday quiz. I wanted to talk about this because the actress Amanda Abingdon, is it? Abington, Amanda Abington. She got quite a bit of hate online because she
don't hate on Amanda. I love
Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah, because she complained about and was cross about the fact that Cabba Babba Rave, a travelling show that sells itself as a little slice of afternoon delight, did a show which appeared to involve BDSM bondage and all sorts of kind of straps and sort of thongs and all sorts of stuff.
Look at all the kids cross-legged.
Did a show in front of a sort of baby audience, an audience of parents and babies. It was felt to be inappropriate. So fury erupted online as footage of scantily clad drag performers acting out a bondage-style routine was done in front of children. Now, this is one of those stories, again, that you wonder, when you look at the images, go online and have a look. They do look particularly sort of torture garden-esque. They, strapped in, spinning from the ceiling, leather straps and all this kind of stuff does seem I mean, it's a curious thing to want to go and see for sort of brunch. Do you know what I mean? And it looks like it's happening in a nursery or in a sort of council, a sort of, a sort of community centre of some form. There's lots of people sat on the floor on mats with babies.
Very tight. Is that a G-string?
A G-string with a tail hanging off it.
Oh, it's a tail.
Like a sort of, like a tiger tail.
That was his...
Yeah, I thought, yeah, exactly. So the organisation's called Kabababa Rave, and I just wanted they have a sort of, they had a strap line or a poster or something somewhere, So anyway, a lot of people online, people on Mumsnet and all that kind of stuff said, this is outrageous. No children should be allowed to see this. This is what happened to Fluffy Bunnies and Beatrix Potter, all this kind of stuff.
Another mum says it looks like a really crap attempt at Cirque du Soleil, but with added bum cheeks.
And Amanda Abington has sort of agreed with this, but they were sort of attacked by look, this is, I want to read this. This is the advert for a show that Kabababa Rave, the organisation that does this, said. Describe what they do. We wanted to create the type of event that we ourselves as mums would want to go to. There's only so many times you can listen to the fucking wheels on the bus. We wanted to give parents the experience of a big London night out, cabaret drinks and dancing, but one to which you can bring your baby and still be home for bedtime.
Oh, I see.
So,
but look, I'm just looking there. These are babies.
Yeah.
Okay. These aren't, and babies don't know what's going on.
No.
So if this is, that explains a lot to me there. It's for mums that just are sick of doing and haven't got anyone to babysit. The babies are not going to know the difference of that.
Yes.
And you could go to a panto where they've got thigh-high leather bits. And the bum cheeks, really, what does a baby think of bum cheeks? A baby doesn't think of anything. No. If it's sexualised, a baby is not going to know that that's sexualised.
Well, and also I think the equivalence to be drawn here, and again, this is one of those headlines I think that generates sort of like strong sort of, it's in the woke area again, isn't it? What the organisation actually say, whether it's your cup of tea or not your cup of tea, is they draw a parallel between what they're doing. And all cinemas now have what they call screenings, where you can go in, parents
That's what
can
it
go
looks
in
like,
with
the babies are babies.
and watch something sort of, that's grown up. It's debatable whether jumping around in a jockstrap with a tiger's tail attached to your penis is entertainment. I mean, that's a different question.
No, but that's a question.
If that floats your boat, then fair enough.
I don't have any problem with it if it's transparent saying what it is. Because a lot of people would find that offensive, and that's fine.
Do you find it offensive, yes or no?
And if you didn't want your baby to be, then you should know exactly what you're getting. Yes. Absolutely, 100%. But I'm trying to think, would I be that opposed to it? Not with the baby. I mean, if it's a good show, if it's a great show and they're talented and they're going to entertain me and I'm bored shitless of going to the playgroup every day, I wouldn't have a problem with it per se.
Yeah.
I think when they get a bit older, it could be a bit confusing.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah, most people, it's not normal, Jackie Vellino. Michelle Hofstein, offended. Okay. All right, well, we're going to have to crack on. I'm going to do the Friday quiz.
Bye, guys.
Lots of love. I'm staying here. Thanks, Nads. Thanks for that.
Don't forget, Curly Cooks tomorrow, 10 a.m, live from our gaff.
Okay, guys, get your pens and pencils. Get your pieces of paper. All right, Ellie, little winner.
Can I just say a quick thank you so much? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
For...
From Shelley.
Shelley, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you, Shelley, really. Tiny changes, remarkable results. Atomic habits. An easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Like having your phone on all the time. Very appropriate today.
Yeah, if I was to turn my phone off now, it would be a very dramatic end to this live. Okay, guys, so Friday quiz, hashtag Fun Friday, hashtag Friday Fun, all that kind of stuff. Let's do it. Let's crack on. Let's do this shit. Question 1, guys. Question 1. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. What you'll sometimes find is that most of our coffee moanings have kind of hit some of these things. So, hang on. I'm going to do that thing where I can pull up two screens so I can see your comments and do the quiz. So bear with me 1 second as you all get your pens and papers. Just do that. Pull that over here. Do this over there. Have you all got your pens and paper, guys? Anyone who's not up for this, you can head off now. Okay. Oh, hang on. Welcome to Kirsty Catchpole. Welcome, Kirsty Catchpole, to the members area. Happy birthday, Vanessa. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vanessa. And Tamsin, was it I saw there? Happy birthday to you. Just do that. Okay, so let me just pull this down. Better go, got bus to catch. Enjoy quiz, Rosemary, here to go. Okay, Nora Doyle, let's crack on. You're not going to be rubbish at this, I promise you. So, quiz of the week. Question 1. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been asked to vacate their British base, their spokesman said. But what's the name of that dwelling gifted to Prince Harry and Meghan by the late Queen Elizabeth II? Was it A, Adelaide Cottage? Was it B, Frogmore Cottage? Or was it C, Nottingham Cottage? Was it A, Adelaide, B, Frogmore, or C, Nottingham? I think everyone's going to get this. Everyone is going to get this, right? I shouldn't say that. Maybe you won't. I'm saying B. Most of you are saying B. We're all getting off to a flying start, feeling good. Hashtag fuck off Friday, feeling great. Let's push on. Question 2. As memorial events marked the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Finland took steps to protect itself from Russia. Which of these was not among the steps to protect itself? A, alerting the population to Russian psyops propaganda. B, starting work on a border fence. Or C, did I say B? C, voting to join the NATO military alliance. Which of those was Finland not doing to protect itself? Alerting the population to Russian psyops propaganda, starting work on a border fence, or voting to join the NATO military alliance. So 2 of those they are doing, 1 of them they're not. I hate these kind of backward, double negative, weird ones. So which of those aren't they doing? I said working on a border fence. Total guess, you're saying B. Anne is saying A. Joe Ozza, Creatorholic is saying A, alerting the population to Russian psyops propaganda. Russ Ouch is saying A. You're right, it's A. A is the answer there. I think a lot of people are going to have fallen at that fence. That was like the first big hurdle. Question 3. A delivery man found carrying an ancient mummy at an archaeological site in Peru told police it was his spiritual girlfriend. But there was a surprise in store on further examination of the corpse. And what was this surprise? Bloody hell. A, it was a fake. B, it was a man. Or C, it was his ancestor. A delivery man found carrying, I don't wonder if he worked for Just Eats or Deliveroo. Delivery man found carrying an ancient mummy, told the police it was his spiritual girlfriend. But there was a surprise in store on further examination. They discovered A, it was a fake, B, it was a man, or C, it was his ancestor. Lots of people saying A, I hope. Vicky Young is saying, lots of you saying ancestor or fake. LN is saying it was a man. Susan Fleming is saying it's a man. Elaine Denning, Linda Tyler, Debbie O'Keefe, all saying it's a man. It was that it was a man. It was that it was a man. Question 4. Multiverse drama Everything Everywhere All at Once cleaned up at the Screen Actors Guild Awards this week. But what did one of its winners, Jamie Lee Curtis, do that made the news? Was it A, declared to the audience, I am all of you? B, rapped her acceptance speech? Or C, referred to herself as a Nepo baby? Nepo as in nepotism baby. Multiverse drama Everything Everywhere All at Once cleaned up at the Screen Actor Guild Awards, but what did Jamie Lee Curtis do that made the news? A, declared to the audience, I am all of you. B, rapped her acceptance speech. Or C, referred to herself as a Nepo or Nepo baby. Lots of you saying C. It's Hi Nanny Di. Lots of you saying C. I mean, obviously she's famously Tony Curtis's daughter. Yeah. And Janet Leigh obviously was her mum. Nepo baby. Question C. Well done. Question 5. It was another week of shocks in English football's FA Cup, was it? It didn't hit this household, with 3 top-flight teams beaten by lower league opposition. 4th tier Grimsby Town, Lee Peart's Grimsby Town beat Premier League Southampton to claim which record? So what record has Grimsby Town Football Club claimed? A, beating a team a record number of places above them. B, first to knock out 5 teams from higher divisions in one season. Or C, greatest number of wins against higher division opposition in history. Wow. What did Grimsby achieve when they beat Southampton? A, beating a team a record number of places above them. B, first to knock out 5 teams from higher divisions in one season. Or C, greatest number of wins against higher division opposition in history. No effing idea. If you didn't fall at the second fence, you are for sure if you're going to fall at this fence, because I got it wrong and I have a vague interest in football. Nanny Di saying beating a record number of places above them. I can't even say the fucking sentences today. Lots of you saying A, Russ Souch, Creatorholic, and Charalumbus, MT2, Ellery Jones, you're all right, it's B. Question 6. A Bolivian man who was lost for a lot happening in South America this week. A Bolivian man lost for 31 days in the Amazon jungle revealed he had survived by eating what? A, his boots. B, peccaries, a type of pig-like animal. Or C, worms. A Bolivian man lost for 31 days in the Amazon jungle revealed that he'd survived by eating what? A, his boots. B, peccaries, a type of pig-like mammal. Or C, worms. Faith Goodman, how you doing? Faith, you enjoying the enjoying the quiz? Lots of you, Mrs. ADC, Fifi Cromack, Cora Bell, Linda Tyler, MT, Faith Goodman, Angela Thompson, Linda Betty. Look, all of you saying worms. I mean, as if boots. I'd eat my hat if he was eating his boots. Yes, it's worms. And final question. Who's on 6? Let's just ask you now, as we rapidly approach 50 minutes. Who's on 6? Some of you. 4 out of 6, Faith. Sarah Withington, 3. Carla Hatcham's on 6. Well done. Final question. There were tributes to Betty Boothroyd, the first woman elected Speaker of the House of Commons who died at 93, same age as our dear Nan. But with which phrase was she known for ending Prime Minister's questions? Was it A, that's all folks, B, that's your lot, or C, time's up? Was it A, that's all folks, B, that's your lot, or C, time's up? Debbie O'Keefe has got a personal best of 4 out of 6. Sean Tucker is saying B. Diane Adderley, Nanny Di, you're not doing too well. What you hear from the start there, Mum? Lots of you saying that's your lot. Linda Tyler saying A. Julie Everts is saying C. Time's up. Debbie O'Keefe is saying C. Nanny Di is saying C. It is, a lot of you are saying that's your lot. I would have said that. I went for that's your lot. It's time's up. Time's up, guys. So there you go. We've made far too much noise and we've stayed far too long, but we hope you've had fun. We hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you have a lovely weekend. If you fancy a chuckle, head over to either my Instagram or we've popped up a short of some silly memes. There's going to be more content landing later. I think a Meals and Minutes is coming at some point. Movie content, all that kind of stuff. A review of Cocaine Bear, if you can believe there's a film of that title. So guys, have a lovely day. If you haven't seen it, go and check out our Home Time that landed last night. And well done, Angela Thompson. Wow.